Coming up, emotional scenes of happiness in the chamber on Thursday, November 9, during a special meeting of Ipswich City Council. It was resolved to proceed with the trailblazing flood buyback deal secured for the Mihi Grove unit complex in Brassall. It's Tuesday, November 14, 2023, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. On the same day as committee meetings, Thursday, November 9, Ipswich City Council held a special general meeting to consider the flood buyback of Mihi Grove after securing support from the Australian and Queensland governments under the Resilient Homes Fund. It was a heartwarming moment when councillors voted unanimously in support of the move. The program administrator is the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, and although the funding is provided from the Resilient Homes Fund, Council is the purchaser of properties under this program. If you haven't been following this closely, then it's important to know that individual affected homeowners could apply for a voluntary buyback under the scheme. However, in a block of units under a community title scheme, it required 100% of owners to agree. In the case of Mihi Grove at Brassall, that was not originally the case. Since the floods of early 2022, there's been a hell of a lot of negotiation and cooperation between governments, and this has resulted in a common-sense solution to this problem. Mihi Grove, like many other locations, was flooded 3 times in 11 years, heartbreaking by any measure. So it was great to see another significant step forward for the owners in Mihi Grove in the long process for the government to buy back these units. Another sticking point under the proposed buyback of Mihi Grove was the additional costs council would incur. This too has been solved. From the special meeting held on November 9, Mayor Teresa Harding.
Council receives and notes a letter from the Queensland Government containing confidential attachment 3 that confirms items not covered by Resilient Homes Fund will be met by funding made available from the Queensland Government up to the amount of $1.84 million. And B2, Council confirms it is satisfied that this sufficient funding is available from the Queensland Government to progress with this acquisition of these properties. C, that Council notes that the next steps to proceed with the purchases acquisitions of these properties is for QRA to commence valuations. Does anyone have any questions of council officers on this matter? In that case, I will move those 3 recommendations. Do I have a seconder? Actually, Councillor Councilman, thank you. In moving this today's a significant day for the owners of Mihi Grove Brassall. And I can see a number of them in the gallery today. Thank you for joining us today. The owners of Mihi Grove first reached out to myself and Division 4 councillors in June of last year, desperate to be part of the Resilient Homes Fund voluntary home buyback program. The residents of Mihi Grove had watched their homes flood in 2011, again in 2013, and finally in 2022. They watched floodwaters once again flow through their homes. There was no doubt Mihi Grove was eligible from a flood risk perspective. But as the unit complex sat under a community title scheme, current legislation required agreement from 100% of owners. And that had to happen for them to be eligible for the program. Getting 42 owners to register for a buyback, some based locally but many interstate, posed a significant challenge. While the Resilient Homes Fund is an initiative of the Australian and Queensland governments, owners were seeking our support and advocacy to find a solution. Since then, Council has been working in partnership with the Queensland Reconstruction Authority to find a way through the voluntary home buyback program. It has been a long, complicated and resource-intensive journey, far more challenging than we could have ever imagined when we initially took up the fight for Mihi Grove. No one knows that more than the owners here today, who've been working tirelessly at their end to help us resolve the many complexities of Mihi Grove. So today marks a significant step and a wonderful milestone for Mihi Grove. After months of working towards the goal, we are seeking council support to proceed with the acquisition of Mihi Grove. This has been a true partnership between council and the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, and would certainly not be possible without the political intervention and the financial support of Deputy Premier Stephen Miles. And I'd also like to thank our member for Blair, Shane Newman, the Minister, and also the Minister, Senator Murray Watt, the Minister for Emergency Management, and also Ipswich West MP Jim Madden, who also supported throughout the entire process, as well as Deputy Mayor Russell Milligan and Kate Kunzelman. To the 42 property owners of Mihi Grove, I say to you, thank you. We can't begin to imagine the stress and the anguish this process has brought to yourselves and your family. And what I can say to you is that we never gave up on you. This council was always there for you. As we head into the Christmas season, I hope today's decision will give you relief, certainty and peace of mind, knowing you and your families can soon leave Mihi Grove and the fear of the next flood is behind you. Councillor Kunzelman's a seconder. Would you like to say anything?
I acknowledge your comments, Mayor, and I also acknowledge the efforts of the activist owners and applaud the Queensland Government for its assurance on this matter. It is my wish that owners find resolution and move towards secure and flood-free housing, and you have my best wishes for your future in that respect.
Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman. I'll open for up to any other discussion or comments. No. In closing, I also would like to thank our council team. Thank you, CEO. Thank you to the legal team, the property team, our flood recovery team. What we did here was do something that's not happened anywhere else in Queensland. We paved the way. It's been incredibly challenging, but I think you can see it's something that was so worthwhile. With that, I'll put the recommendations to the vote. Those in favour, please raise your hand. It's unanimous and carried.
A reminder to look for handy links in the show notes, including to Ipswich City Council's YouTube channel, where you can watch all meetings live or on demand. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is listener supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au. Follow and stream this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today on smart speakers. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thank you for listening.